Video coverage of ITEXPO is brought to you by Content Boost, the content marketing specialists.
Hi, Rachel Ramsey here, ITEXPO Miami. I'm here with Steve Johnson, the president of InGate Systems. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Rachel. Nice to be here.
So tell us a little bit about InGate and what you're doing this week here at the show.
Sure. InGate is a company that's focused on developing and selling session border controllers. We've been in this business for 12, 13 years at this point, and we're well recognized in the industry as having one of the best session border controllers around that is based on a full proxy, as well as having functionality for interoperability, fix-up, security, quality of service, even things like encrypting, signaling and media. So it's a very full-fledged session border controller and very well priced as well.
Nice. So there are two topics in particular that you're focusing on this week, SIP trunking and WebRTC. Yeah. Do you want to speak a little bit on those?
Sure. So our principal product today is primarily supporting SIP trunking, which is the real fundamental application for SIP today. We also support things like remote workers, mobile workers, and those kinds of things. But most of our products are sold to companies that are installing them as part of a SIP trunking solution. We've been doing that for a number of years now since SIP trunking gained popularity. And what we're seeing is that is really continuing in a strong way. And we've had a very strong first half of our fiscal year, growth of more than 25% in revenue. And we are seeing not only revenue rise, but also the number of seats that are being, or actually sessions that are being installed in each of these applications, which is really an indication to me that this is really taking off. It's, to use a phrase from Jeffrey Moore, it's crossed the chasm, and it's now into the majority. And people are really recognizing this as being a valuable change in the way they do telephony and communications. And therefore, we're seeing growth. I think others are seeing growth as well, and it's a good sign for the industry.
Good. And you spoke on a session this week at the show here in Miami on SBCs and the role in SIP trunking and WebRTC. You touched on all of those. So do you want to highlight some of those talking points and what you took from the discussion?
Well, what I took from the discussion is that people are really doing much more with SIP trunking today than they were doing a couple of years ago, for sure. What I was trying to implement or to say in that discussion was that InGate is a big player in this industry, that we have solutions that solve this problem for companies that range from 5 sessions at a time to companies that need as many as 8,000 or 10,000 sessions supported by the session border controller. And we see that, again, as I said a moment ago, we are seeing that people are coming after us for quotes that are now in the thousands as opposed to in the tens as they were a few years ago. So the point is that SIP trunking is real. SIP trunking works. There are a lot of service providers who are offering it. The PBX vendors that we work with have now made SIP as a fundamental or core competency of their products, and they have incorporated all of the features that they used to have in their TDM products years ago. So now companies that they work with are seeing the real benefits of it and can replicate what was being done previously and are happy now to move to SIP trunking and gain those benefits that come with it, which really amount to lower cost and the centralization of the services as opposed to having PBXs at every site as they had to do previously.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time, and I hope you had a great week at Miami.
We did, and we were also able to talk somewhat about our initiatives regarding WebRTC, our PBX Companion and Q-Turn products, which we think are going to also be extremely beneficial to companies as more and more firms realize the benefits that WebRTC can bring of revolutionizing communications as it hasn't been revolutionized for perhaps 100 years. So we're looking forward to that. We have had a lot of great input from the people who saw those demonstrations, and we think that that's something that's going to really start to take off here in the next year or so.
Excellent. Well, we look forward to watching it grow, for sure.
Okay, Rachel. Thank you very much.
Video coverage of ITEXPO is brought to you by Content Boost, the content marketing specialists. Amplify your sales today.